We all know that Bitcoin needs to get a breakout relatively soon in either direction because we've been steady for a very, very long time. And, patterns like this one right here that everyone's been talking about, we can't really stay stuck in a range like this forever. And there are some really big things that have taken place over this weekend. And one of them I actually discussed with you, I think in just the last video. So if you're already subscribed, you're going to know about it. But I think it might have already started. So take a look at this. Bitcoin got another one of its classic kind of scam pumps, I'm going to call it, and we've seen so many of these already. We get the scam dumps, we get the subsequent pumps, we get pumps like this and then like this and, dumps like this. It's all just obviously movements that are designed to steal money from you, as in the average, just a normal person trading this market. But what I think is potentially significant about this one right here is this is coming after the news that I discussed with you yesterday, where there is some desire from the Fed to slow down the rate hikes, okay? And that is very, very big news because one of the reasons that we've seen Bitcoin drop so much, over these last weeks and months, well, mainly just kind of last months or just the fact that it's been a dead market. And one of the reasons we've seen things like the S&P 500 really struggle to gain traction, that's going to be happening because interest rates are getting really high. And I discussed this quite a bit in the last video, so just go ahead and watch that video. It's only in the beginning of the video, the first like 5-10 minutes, and then come right back to this if you missed it. Obviously, that wouldn't happen if you've got the notifications and stuff checked, so just make sure that you are tuning into this time-sensitive content when it's released. But the thing that I think could be taking place right now is simply Bitcoin potentially getting ready to initiate some of that. We were stuck in a sideways range for a little bit, about 2 days, pretty normal. We've had this like 50 times now over the last 4 months. But we have now kind of reached this area of resistance at 19.5 that you guys know I've been watching. If we're able to get above it, the next area of resistance that I'm seeing is going to be this $20,200 level. So it's a little bit like, I don't know, call it $700-800 higher than this resistance area right here. I don't think Bitcoin's going to struggle to break this range. I mean, if we get above 19.5, I don't think it's going to be too hard for Bitcoin to get above. And crucially, I think that this is going to be due to what's going on with the dollar. We have seen, and this article highlights it pretty well, things like the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ each up by some pretty nice percentage points right here. And that was happening because we're expecting a debate on smaller interest rate hikes in December. It's only an expectation, may or may not happen, but the reason that this is big news is that the markets are reacting already. Why are the markets reacting already? Purely because markets, what they're designed to do, because everyone is trying to front run and everyone's trying to get a good advantage in the market, is they're going to anticipate possible moves. Okay, so if the Fed comes out, at this point and actually says that they're not going to be, raising interest rates, that they're not going to be slowing down the interest rate hikes that they've been doing, that, all of these gains, this is gonna be a false hope, basically. We'd probably get a really big dump. But if it is indeed the case, well, what we see right now with things like the S&P 500, right, closing just a little bit higher, these are signs that, there is some potential anticipation, some early risk takers, basically, getting ready to trade in these markets towards the upside. And I think that's what we've seen with today's pump for Bitcoin. Now, there is a caveat here. If we zoom in onto the 1 minute time frame, this pump, really just kind of started on the 1 minute time. I mean, it started off a little bit, and then it escalated, and then it escalated again, and then it really escalated. So this still doesn't look like totally organic price action, but it's better than what we've seen previously, right? I mean, previously, it would be just crickets, nothing happening, and then bam, we drop, and then crickets, nothing happening, and then bam, we drop. Not quite the same. Does it mean this is organic price action? Again, I don't think so. I think this is all still quite clearly market manipulation out here. But, the fact that it's coming at this time, I think, is good because it does, to me, indicate that, we could be looking at a little bit of a further drop of the dollar index, which is something that I've been talking about. And unfortunately, I can't record this video later on because most of my audience isn't going to be awake if I do. But this dollar index market is going to be open again within the next hour and 40 minutes. And, so many of you watching this video are probably already going to know what's been going on with the dollar. And, what I really think is going to happen is, it ended really badly on the Friday. I do think that we are going to see a little bit of a drop down somewhere into this range. The last time we were here was a fair while back. I mean, it was like 15 days or so, 17 days. But we didn't spend much time down below this yellow box. We actually basically basically just spent about 2.5 days below this area. So I think that there is, below this area. So I think that there's a good chance that we kind of drop down into this range. And if we do, that is going to create quite a bearish market structure for the dollar right here. It would potentially paint another descending triangle that would look something a little bit like this. If we do end up kind of finding support, potentially we trade in a pattern that looks something a little bit like this. This would make so much sense because it even coincides with a back test of this area, which is currently support. If it ends up coming up here and falling down, that would make it a resistance area. So I think that this is something that's worth paying attention to. And the thing about Bitcoin is obviously it's quite an excited asset. Obviously, Bitcoin is 24/7 as well. So while we can't see these kind of things happening with the S&P 500, we can see them potentially being reflected in Bitcoin over the weekend. So I think this is a good start to next week, basically, to the next week of trading. And we're just going to have to see what happens when the dollar index kind of opens. It's not going to take very long. Like I said, literally just an hour and a half to go. And if we do end up seeing this drop a little bit, I think we could see even more upward pressure for Bitcoin. And the crucial thing, guys, and I've been talking about this for a while, is we've had a lot of patterns. I think the best one is just this kind of I've deleted the lines now, but the descending triangle pattern. It's best drawn on this chart, really, which I was showing you guys. If I just adjust the lines a little bit, because this isn't actually fully accurate, something a little bit more like this. We can't stay in this range forever. The apex is literally just a month away, but we generally we're not going to be trading all the way up to the apex because it's just too tight. And so if we're kind of potentially inching up now, and we haven't, like I said, we haven't actually made much progress yet. We've only seen one of these scam pumps, like I said. But if we do start breaking resistance areas, then I think we could be looking at some really, really nice relief. And I actually just want to look at what the support resistance levels are showing us, right? So we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, and we've been flatlining, so we don't have anything on the 4-hour time frame with my beautiful beloved Ichimoku cloud. On the daily time frame, it's a little bit different. We have quite a lot of resistance, and it's going to really, I think, provide Bitcoin with a bit of a challenge to break higher. It's consistently been an extremely reliable indicator to show us where we might find resistance. And you guys know my deal. I don't show many indicators on this YouTube channel. I just don't like to overcomplicate my analysis. My core analysis is pretty good as it is, so I don't need to compensate with indicators, right? That's what people generally tend to do. They have bad fundamentals in terms of their analysis. They don't really know how to carry out, just naked chart analysis with basic lines, and so they start piling on a million different indicators. I'm sure I'm talking to many of you right now, and that's striking a nerve. So if that's you, you don't need to be upset about it. But this is your signal to just make sure that you've got the fundamentals nailed down before you start throwing all sorts of shit on the chart. But the 1-day chart right here with the Ichimoku cloud definitely looking like it is offering some resistance. And the only other indicator that I primarily use is the daily EMA ribbon, and this is currently providing some resistance to us. But we've been battling this daily EMA ribbon pretty much non-stop now for the last month. So this doesn't happen often, where we're just kind of stuck battling an EMA ribbon for a very long period of time. When it does happen, that we can't kind of like climb above an EMA ribbon for a long period of time, like right here, that is generally a sign that we're actually going to break up. It didn't happen on this occasion. We kept battling it here for 17 days straight. It wasn't as close to the EMA as we are right now. I mean, we're pretty much like just constantly in the EMA ribbon. That wasn't quite the case right here. And it works the same in reverse, right? When we keep on just, kind of hanging around in our support area, like right here is a great example. We fell deep into it. We didn't get very high above it. We fell back into it. This lasted about a month, and then bam, look, we fell below, right? So this is the same classic thing that I always talk about in my analysis, where the more we use a particular area of support or resistance, the weaker you can generally expect it to get, right? Look at this. It happens all the time. Right here, for like 14 days straight, we kept on battling it. We got a little bit of a flash dump down, and then bam, we started a really, really big rally, the big second leg. I mean, there's endless examples I can find of this, and there's also exceptions as well. It's not like this is a bulletproof theory, but you can see it. It's fairly consistent when we're just stuck finding resistance constantly in the EMA ribbon. In this case, it was 18 days. Bam, we get that lift off, right? So this isn't a signal that we're going to get a breakout, but it's definitely a signal that there is resistance here and it's not working. So that is really, really good news for us as, analysts and traders in the space. Again, potentially hinting at some really nice volatility incoming in the market. And on that note, guys, if you're looking for a place to trade it, if you want to take advantage of what's going on in the market, just like I've been doing inside of VIP, then you can trade on BitGet in the same ways that I do from anywhere, literally anywhere on the planet without a VPN and without KYC. So go ahead and take advantage of that if that's something that sounds interesting to you. BitGet is also offering you a very, very cool bonus where if you deposit $4,000, you're going to get $400 completely free. So 10% of your deposit, you're going to get free of charge, which you can trade with and do anything you like with. When you follow my link in the description down below, make your deposit and then make a few trades. It's pretty easy to get. Bybit is offering you guys up to $4,000. So this is really, really cool. And if you want to check these offers out, you're getting really, really nice bonuses completely free of charge by following the links down below, which is absolutely great because these are the two pretty much only exchanges that I use. Bybit is obviously my main exchange, as you guys know very well. I've been with them since like 2018, 2019. I can't even remember now, and absolutely love them to bits. Really, really nice bonus. So do take advantage of this if it's something that you want to look at in the market. But right here, like I said, our resistance is here. It's not working. That is potentially an indication that we could be rising up. And I still, I keep pointing to this bloody fear and greed index. Look, 22 from 20 to 23. The previous day was also 23. Look, we're still flatlining in this very same range. I think that this is important to keep an eye on, guys. I really think that people are not paying attention to this. And look, guys, look at my ads. It's absolutely obscene. Like, you guys try to offer up explanations for where these ads are coming from. Like, is this like a big crossbow or a I don't even understand what this is meant to be. But anyway, I need to get an ad blocker, really. But yeah, fear and greed index, I think still, again, when we're, at support levels and, now potentially showing signs that our resistance levels aren't really even being responded to. Look, I think that those are important things. I think that fundamentally, some of this picture is changing up a little bit. We could be very much due for a bit of a reversal. And, I think the really good news is that if we do end up getting a reversal, this is going to shock a lot of people. People are just not receptive to the idea of Bitcoin bouncing up in general from what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm looking everywhere that I know, Twitter, YouTube being some really good examples of where you can kind of gauge sentiment of the masses, of normal people who, are fairly smart, whatever. But I'm still not seeing like a super open, kind of acceptance of the idea that Bitcoin could form a little bit of a rally. And it makes sense because there's still, like I said, a lot of bearish technicals in this chart. But we are starting to see elements of this picture changing up. And that, I think, is something very much, important to be keeping an eye on. If we do end up getting a breakout. Now, see, this has lasted a really long time that we've been in this descending triangle now. One of the ways you can get a target is you can actually measure the height of the descending triangle, take this down, and you can kind of draw down what this might look like. And there's different ways to draw this, by the way, that aren't as scary. So, you could, potentially just kind of change up this resistance area to look a little bit more like this. And then your line gets a little bit shorter. So take a look at this. Let's see the difference. It's not actually much shorter, but, it's the difference of about $1,000, showing us targets of, $8,000, $9,000 if we break down. But if we break up, let's say we break up, I don't know, like around here, we're getting targets of like $30,000, guys. And I think that this is something that's worth paying attention to, 30 to 31, 32. This lines up exactly with the kind of ranges that I'm looking at in terms of resistance levels. I know that other people are, still kind of eyeing up levels like $25,000, $24,000, which is exactly kind of where we topped out previously. And if I extend this out, you'll see what I mean by that. Take a look at this. So right here, this could very well end up being where Bitcoin stops if it does end up rallying up. But this would still be really nice. Grab some liquidity here, then potentially drop down. Very, very common for the market to do stuff like that. If you're wondering what I mean by grab some liquidity here, I mean, a lot of people would probably panic and enter long positions up here. They would, buy out of fear of missing out, and then the market can drop down and then screw those people over. Basically, this would be a very, very, very big version of what happened right here. So actually it would be in the inverse. So it would be more like this right here. We get a really nice big scam pump and we get a really nice big scam dump to follow. Super typical for Bitcoin. That's just, I think, a fairly conservative, kind of outcome if we do start breaking these resistance levels, because like I said, we've been squashed for a really long time now. In this market. Where's this chart that I had right here? We've been squashed for a really long time now in this market, so I don't think it's completely unreasonable to be looking at levels like $30,000 now. This is what happens when the market, kind of really screws you for a long time. It could just get a lot worse, and it very well did many times before. I've shown you the biggest example of this in 2018 that I can remember. This is the biggest example that I can remember right here, which many people were, kind of looking at back in 2018 as well. And it ended up going horribly, right? And we're forming something very similar right now, just on a smaller time frame. But again, like I said, with things potentially starting to open up a little bit, skies potentially getting a little bit clearer. This doesn't mean that I think we're going to be hitting all-time highs and stuff like that, but just that a bit of a relief rally could be due. You know what? Don't be so closed off to it is the takeaway that I want to give you guys in this YouTube video, because I think a lot of people are really struggling to face those kind of potential realities right now. But I'm not sure if that's the healthiest kind of place to be mentally in this market. I want to show you Ethereum against Bitcoin right here as well. Let's take a look at the Coinbase chart for this. Look at that beautiful 382 retracement right here. I don't want to focus on this fib level just for now, though. I actually just want to draw a box kind of roughly around this area, where you can see some really nice kind of resistance hits around here, some nice support bounces, a little bit more resistance, some more resistance here. Look, this is an important level for Ethereum against Bitcoin. I think if we climb above it, we could be looking at a really nice rise up. Let me just throw on the VPVR to double check that I've drawn this box correctly. So we should see a spike right here. Yeah, a little bit of a spike, but crucially after this box right here, after we kind of get above, if we get above 0.071 BTC per Ethereum token. So let me just extend this box up a little bit. So basically it looks a little bit like this. If we're able to get above this box, I think there could be a nice rise for Ethereum against Bitcoin as well. And the reason this is important is this does, in my opinion, represent the broader strength of the altcoin market. Obviously, Bitcoin generally rallies first, and then Ethereum, and then the rest of the market. That's generally how it goes. It makes for really, really predictable trade setups, by the way. This is the kind of thing that we really thrive off inside of VIP. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you want to see how I'm trading in this market, down to all of the nitty-gritty details, but more importantly, every explanation of what I'm doing in full as well, that is all going to be available to you guys by following these steps on screen right here. But like I said, I think that this could potentially open up some nice opportunities as well. Just showing you what that upside looks like. Currently, we're still below resistance. So the default is still going to be that we potentially drop down, and we've certainly done that many, many times. But I like that we're just kind of hanging around here. We're just constantly knocking on the door of the resistance. A little bit like the Bitcoin EMA ribbon that I showed you towards the beginning of this video. I think that is a really, really important thing to be keeping an eye on. And that is, that is, I think, a very, very convincing picture that's starting to form. I've been saying this for a while. I like the fact that we're getting this pump. I don't want to believe it too much because, like I said, this is really following the typical pattern of just kind of, it could just literally be that we're just going to, kind of tag the range highs, 20.3, 20.4, and then come right back down. I mean, that's happened so many times now that it's actually become quite predictable. Maybe that in itself is a reason that, if we do kind of carry this on, we are just going to blast straight through. I'm feeling like the probability of a move up is increasing day by day. That's just my take. That's just how I feel, with everything that the market is pointing to, and the fact that all of the indicators that are showing us we're going to drop down are lagging indicators. But like I said earlier on in this video, the fundamental picture is potentially starting to change just a little bit as well. So there you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Somewhat shorter than my other videos, but I did want to get this out to you guys fairly soon. If you did appreciate this video, do me a favor and just throw up a thumbs up on this YouTube video for the algorithm. Just double check that you're subscribed as well. Even if you regularly watch these videos, you are going to be missing them if you haven't actually subscribed. YouTube isn't really delivering videos to people anymore. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because people aren't interested, but I have noticed that views have ticked down a little bit. So if that is something that appeals to you, to be able to catch these videos constantly, just make sure that you are staying subscribed, got the bell icon checked. And of course, if you join the free Telegram channel right here with the first link in the description, it's not here in the description, but it's always the first link. You are also going to be getting free access into my Telegram channel where I'm giving you more analysis from me and my team around the clock, free of charge. And one of the other things we do is we do send in the links for the YouTube videos, so you get those pinged straight to your phone. Again, it's really important to watch these right when the videos are live. I am going to be up, and watching what happens to the dollar. So when this happens in 90 minutes and we see how the dollar opens, I will be giving my updates to VIPs if I see something particularly interesting as well. There you go, guys. Really hope you've enjoyed this one. Make sure you check out BitGet for access to a very, very solid derivatives exchange all over the world. No VPN, no KYC required. Withdrawal limits are generous as well. It's very, very good. and Bybit as well, offering you guys up to $4,000 in bonuses. So go ahead and check those two out if you like the idea of getting some free money trading on the very same places that I feel are safe enough for me to put my funds. I am an absolute safety freak. I'm British at the end of the day, so we love our safety. We love our safety standards. And for me, it's very important to only be putting my money in the most competent, safest of places. And that's why I have chosen to use these exchanges and even to work with them. So very, very important notes for me, especially with Bybit, like I said, because I've been with these guys for so many years. They've never, ever let me down. So very, very cool there indeed. If you've enjoyed this one, you know what to do. Hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff, and I'm out. Bye-bye.